Hi, everyone. This is Dr. Cheryl Selman, and welcome to The Love Code. Oh, it's so great to have you because we have amazing guests today that will inspire and uplift and support you in understanding the immense possibilities that exist for all of us. And that really is the purpose of this program, which is a weekly show on Progressive Radio Network. The Love Code is dedicated to tapping into the greatest potential that all of us have, the potential to heal, the potential to live a life fully filled with joy and love and possibilities, a life that allows us to find the passion so we can truly serve others. Especially at this time, we want to be able to open our hearts and open our possibilities and open our infinite self to be able to tap into all of the gifts that we have so we can share with everyone. Last week, I interviewed a wonderful guest, Mike Curley from Australia, and we were talking about the existence of frequency medicine. So I had a huge response from that conversation, and in that conversation, Mike shared his own personal experience of his own healing of irritable bowel syndrome. He experienced the possibility of healing long distance remotely with a technology called the Healy, and how it helped his mother-in-law, who was dealing with severe pain and insomnia and who lived 50 miles away, was healed when he worked with this remote broadcast technology of frequencies. So I'm going to continue this conversation, and I've invited two guests to share their experiences. But before I introduce my guests, I just want to say that medicine as we know it is in a transition, and we're moving more and more away from the allopathic model of healing, which incorporates obviously pharmaceutical drugs, it incorporates testings, it incorporates interventions of all sorts, and where we are going is into the reality of energy medicine. That is our future. That is the future of all aspects of healing, and there are those technologies that are what I would call the early adapters that are working with this, and we will see more and more of this as we move into the understanding that we are energy beings, and that when we can transmit energies or frequencies, which is one way of saying when we can transmit information to the energy body that is all around us, that we will have more direct communication to bringing about balance, harmony, and alignment to our true self. So this is really pioneering work. It's pioneering in the sense that only a few practitioners have had access to these kinds of technologies. It generally is not available to the public. But now we have technology such as what we're going to talk about today, the Healy, that is designed to be used by individuals so they can access the potential and possibilities for healing and bringing balance back. No matter what we name a condition, it doesn't really matter because it's just a name. What the body is experiencing is a lack of energy on a cellular level. It's dealing with interference issues, things that impair the body's ability to get the right signals to work. So if we can correct those, we can align to greater harmony on a cell-to-cell basis. And it can also impact how we think and how we feel, which will also impact how our cells are responding. So this is immensely exciting for me because I love these technologies. I have seen wonderful changes and healings, but now there are possibilities for each of us to own a technology that can do tremendous healing transformations and alignment for optimal health. So that is what our conversation is going to focus around today with my two guests who have had some quite incredible personal experiences. And there's nothing like listening to people share their own stories to understand the depth and profundity of such possibilities. So I'm happy to introduce my guest to you. So first, we have Lisa Lothian, who's a certified BodyTalk practitioner and a True Cellular Detox practitioner who coaches others to live toxin-free life. And her health and life have been profoundly transformed by using the Healy. And my other guest is Mary Hauser, who is an entrepreneur. She has many home-based businesses, and she too has been dedicated to helping people live healthy, vital, and fulfilling lives. And she has her own wonderful story of healing with the Healy, as well as waiting for her Healy device to arrive so she can have personal use of her own as opposed to going to a practitioner. So I want to welcome both Lisa and Mary to the show today. So hello and welcome to both of you wonderful, powerful women.
Thank you, Cheryl. It's great to be here.
It's great having both of you. Thank you for your time. I'm going to start with Mary because Mary is, Mary, from what I have been learning from some of the information you posted, you kind of just jumped into this. You're seeing a therapist, a practitioner who offered you an experience of this Healy technology. Why did you feel you needed it? What was going on for you in your body that you felt you were needing help with?
Well, with my rheumatoid arthritis, over the last 18 months, I had some major stressors in life that had escalated into a flare that I'd never had. So it had taken quite some time to even get it to be manageable. And it was at that point where at least to me manageable was I wouldn't have to go more often than every 10 to 14 days because I had to go quite often for treatments prior to that. But with the shutdown, I could not go for treatments, and what had become manageable then started to escalate so that it was, getting to be severe again.
How long were you diagnosed? How long have you been suffering or dealing with rheumatoid arthritis?
I've had rheumatoid for probably about 12 years.
Wow, that's a really long time, isn't it? You're young.
Yes.
You're a young whippersnipper.
Yes. I was diagnosed at 42, so yes.
Wow. So your treatments previous to doing this energy work consisted of what? What were you doing every 10 to 14 days? What kinds of treatments did you get?
Well, like I said, it had gotten to the point where I was able to move it out that far, which is kind of funny to say because I was having to go much more often in the last year. But yes, I was seeing a physical therapist for, they call it PNMT. It's neuromuscular, precision neuromuscular therapy. Basically, it's kind of like acupressure. On the exact muscles and for the exact area that you need to specify. And then I also was seeing acupuncturists with stimulation to keep the pain levels down, and then would also occasionally see a chiropractor to help with adjustment of things. Plus taking supplements.
Right. So where did this rheumatoid arthritis, this pain, this ache in your body, where was it localized, or was it in a particular area or throughout your body?
Right. So prior to the flare, I just had all over pain that would just kind of escalate, and then I would try get treatments to bring it down. But when the flare happened, not only did I have the all over pain, but it localized in my sciatic, my left hip, and then down my left leg. So it was very difficult even getting out of a car.
That must be so difficult because you're in chronic pain all the time, varying degrees, but it's always there, I would imagine, right?
Yes. Yes, yeah. So you just alter your life around it. But I'm looking forward to not having to do that on a regular basis anymore.
Well, that's a perfect segue. That leads us into what happened when you went to one of your practitioners and she offered you this new technology called the Healy. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so who I went to see was my friend Elena, and so she had the Healy device, had just gotten it, been using it, and was having good results, and had offered for me to come to do a treatment session, which I jumped on. So I went and we just did we just picked two of the pain treatments to do because there's quite a few that you can pick from. And so we picked one that was a bone and joint, and we ran that one for about 20 minutes. And then we ran a second one that was more muscle related, and that was about 20 minutes as well. And prior to going to her, like I said, things had been escalating. I'd been in the stay-at-home for a couple of months, and my pain levels had just been, constantly increasing. So it was quite amazing to see what happened with those couple of treatments.
So, okay, so we're all in suspense, Mary. What happened? Tell us.
All right. So when I went, basically, walking was difficult. I could walk, but it was painful. I did have a lot of pain through my hip, my back, my leg, and with just those 2 20-minute sessions, by the time I was done, there was no pain in my hip, which I could not even believe. My all-over achiness, that was gone, which I was like, what? This is kind of crazy. I could move my leg and, lift it higher than I'd been able to lift it. I could walk easily, much more easily. I did still have some pain in that leg, but it was more localized. I could tell where, like it was just a couple of places that it was. It had lifted a lot of the extreme pain and then the all over pain, which to me was kind of crazy that in just that short amount of time, but I was amazed really that I got that much relief.
Well, that is pretty profound actually, because when you consider that you've been in this chronic pain, and which, as you said, was escalating and you could hardly function, because I did see a video you posted and you were kind of, hobbling around, hard to get out of a chair. It was, when you're in pain in your hips and joints, it's really hard to have fluidity or, so it was tough for you.
Right.
When I saw that video you posted afterwards where you were, lifting your leg and bending it and, it's like doing amazing things, which I guess must have been incredible for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I found to be the most interesting was that when I went home later that day, as the hours went on, my pain actually went down. And that's very unusual. When you are someone with chronic pain and you're functioning during the day, your pain goes up. Plus, I had an incident, unfortunately, in my home and the ants decided to come and live with me. So I had quite a few ants in my house I wasn't expecting after a construction project. And I had to deal with moving things, which on any time for me is difficult and painful. So I had to move all these things. I had to be vacuuming and rolling up, rugs and things that, would put me under stress with my rheumatoid. But was so interesting that the pain levels were not really increasing throughout that process. And even the next day after having to do this project on and off, taking care of all of it for over a day, afterwards, what was the craziest thing was that I could actually lift my leg higher without pain than I had in 2 years' time.
Wow, isn't that wonderful? That's just, just so amazing. So, you know what? We want to let everyone know. First of all, when you're dealing with energy medicine, it defies your rational left brain, right? Because we think that healing, first of all, requires a lot of medication. And, it takes time. You have to go easy. But when you're dealing with frequency energies and, the possibility of realigning these what I call interference fields, this block of flow of energy can bring about such profound, can't help but use that word, changes that you experienced. I mean, when someone is dealing with rheumatoid arthritis, that is really terrible chronic pain. I can only imagine how that was so difficult for you, Mary. And then here you are, this unbelievable experience happens. Because you probably had no idea what was going to happen.
Right.
Just like,
with this,
right?
Yeah, I had no idea what it was going to do for me. I was only hopeful because of other things I had already learned about this technology with the Healy. And that, what was interesting to me was, I had read about that it works with the cells and it's, changing the cells to be healthier. And I just, as my pain went down throughout the day, I just was amazed that, wow, it actually did what they said it was going to.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And I know you were so impressed that you ordered your own Healy device.
Yes. So I'm anxiously awaiting mine. In fact, right before the call, I went to my mailbox and the lady was there, and I was asking, she even looked in the truck to make sure the package wasn't there.
I'm sure you're anxious. I know.
So yes. And in fact, when we're done with the podcast, I already have an appointment to go back to. I have a session scheduled with Elena this afternoon, so that I can get a little more relief while I'm waiting.
Yeah, that's great. And I think, to be honest, people need to understand if you're dealing with chronic health issues, sometimes the benefit can be immediate, and sometimes it may take several sessions, maybe consistent sessions, several in a week, several in a month. I mean, we never know, but the more chronic the condition, I mean, your experience was dealing with your chronic rheumatoid arthritis, you had such immediate change. You never know.
Yeah, and you're right. Honestly, to get any level of relief, I would have been happy with any level of relief, but to have it be, to me, so profound that, in such a short time, I really wasn't amazed, that it just was so quick. And of course, like you said, yes, some people it's going to take maybe, a few sessions, but their body may not be reflecting, but there's changes going on from what they're receiving, the frequencies that are, being put into the body through the sessions that they're doing. It's helping. They just may not be noticing that change quite as quickly. But yeah, I actually was even surprised how long that it actually lasted for before my levels started to go back up, which was about 5 days. So for somebody, that has that pain every day, you just expect you're going to wake up in the morning and whatever you did the day before, most of it's gone.
And that's why you're going and getting another treatment to keep that healing process going until your own Healy rod. Because the beautiful thing about this technology is that it's designed for people. It's not designed just for practitioners. It's designed for everyone to be able to own their own device so they can take care of their own needs. I like to say it's supporting our own ability to be self-reliant and heal issues.
Yeah, and honestly, that's why, for myself, when I was looking at the different devices, I'm not one that is as technical, and I want wanted something that was going to, like this, it's not only going to give me the relief and help me, but I opted to get the device that would actually analyze my body and tell me exactly what I need, as well as what levels that the frequency should be run at for that specification. So I just wanted, that way it's easy. I just click on it. It tells me, it will send to my body what my body needs.
So if you think about this, Mary, here you are for 12 years with this diagnosis. And again, it's a name, but the truth is you've been dealing with chronic pain in your joints and around your body. We call it rheumatoid arthritis, and who knows what has been contributed, toxins, stress, deficiencies, whatever. But that's how it showed up. And you've been going to doctors, you've been doing a round of therapists. Just think how much money you have invested in your healing over the years.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. Just, also to let you know is that when I started, although I do not like traditional medicine, I didn't feel like there was anything there to help me. I didn't know better, so I did have to go the traditional route, which was the traditional medicines, and it was excruciating to take them. It was horrible. It did all kinds of bad things to my body, and then I sought out holistic methods and started with the acupuncture, the chiropractor, got rid of the medications, but still had pain. And so this last year with the flare, I spent over $3,000 out of pocket. So that's a huge amount. And I couldn't do that on a extended basis, shall I say. Even that was difficult. But I was in so much pain, I didn't know what else to do because I really did not. I wanted to be holistic. I did not want to go back on the medication. So I was seeking out everything I could. I'd gone to 7 different practitioners until I found one that actually would move the pain levels down, even though it was slow. So that's why that experience of this last year, seeing how slowly that went, even though it was good treatment, and then to find something that in one session moved that forward so much for me. That was to me like just unreal, actually.
It's like a miracle, right? It's like a miracle in your life.
Yeah, honestly, when you have chronic pain, yes, to get something that you can put it on and it gives you, relief immediately, that's life-changing.
Yeah. Well, I'm so happy for you. That's such a beautiful story and so inspiring for all of us listening, because we all can have a miracle of healing. And, this technology, this frequency energy is what's facilitating quick, rapid, painless and permanent healings. That's the name of the game these days. That's what we all want.
I'm excited for myself, and I'm excited for other people that will be using this technology.
Yeah, exactly. So, that's a wonderful story. Thank you so much, Mary. You did such a great job inspiring us. And hang in there, because we're going to go over to Lisa, because Lisa Lothian, my other guest, has actually been introduced to the Healy, I think, since December. And she has amazing stories of how it has benefited her. So, Lisa, it's so good having you on the show today.
Thank you, Cheryl. And first, can I just say, Mary, I'm so grateful you found this. I had several nagging things, but nothing debilitating, and also having a herniated disc. I know how debilitating back pain can be, but to have it over your whole body, I can't even imagine. So I'm glad you are on the path. I can't wait to hear what happens when you get your Healy.
I'm very grateful and cannot wait.
Excellent. Yeah, I actually got my Healy in November. It was right before Thanksgiving. And, it's always been a mission of mine to help people be empowered and able to provide their own self-care as much as possible. Because I know, when the body is out of energetic balance, it just invites in challenges, health challenges. And since everything is energy and everything in the body should be at its own specific frequency, the more you can tune, the better. And so I had been using other energetic wellness tools over the last almost just over a decade. And I'm glad you brought up the left brain. Before that, I was a very left-brained wellness person. I actually started with herbal medicine when I was about 12. My mom had a small herbal business, and I was just drawn in. It was just fascinating to me. I remember taking alfalfa and my sneezing and runny eyes in the springtime going away, and I was hooked from that point on. But, you know, I was always about the double-blind placebo studies, and my eyes were opened when in my, I guess, early 30s, I had always suffered from, you know, getting up in the morning and barely making it downstairs, and sometimes having to sit on the stairs and have somebody bring me some orange juice to balance my blood sugar before I could proceed. And while I was having breakfast, I was asking what we were going to do for lunch, and then at lunch asking what we were going to do for dinner. I could not miss a meal. And luckily I had a high metabolism, so it didn't affect my weight. But and then I, you know, was introduced to some biofeedback technology that read your energy field and got rid of that issue. And then I was introduced to BodyTalk and got rid of more issues. And everything that I've learned along the way, I dive right in, and I say, okay, if this helped me, I know it'll help others. I need to share it. And like I said, I was using some other energy tools that helped my back pain immensely. It helped those sweaty nights in bed when I was in my early 50s, helped with insomnia, etc. But then it stopped working a few years ago. And those tools had a couple of hundred frequencies each. If you used them all, maybe you got 2,000 frequencies. And when my clients started complaining that they didn't feel like they were working anymore, I'm a meditator, and I meditated on it and thought, oh, what are we going to do? And lo and behold, I got a phone call telling me about the Healy and how it had 144,000 frequencies. And I just said, thank you for answering me so quickly, and knew that that was the answer. So they weren't available in the U.S. yet, but somebody brought me one from Thailand, and right before, the week before Thanksgiving. So the first thing I used it on, because I was doing a really gentle, I thought, brain detox, I would take this brain formula at night and wake up in the morning after a solid 8 hours of sleep and feel like I'd been up all night. And Max Glockner is the gentleman that brought me the Healy from Thailand, and I met him in Miami, and he said, and it was like 8 o'clock at night. I almost didn't go. I was so tired. I thought, oh, I'll just go tomorrow. But I rallied and went down to Miami, and he handed me the Healy, and he said, what do you want to work on? And I said, I'm just exhausted. And he told me to run a program called Inner Strength. So I ran that, and it was no more than 10 or 15 minutes, and I felt like I just had the best nap of my life. And, I mean, I just couldn't believe it. So I also, some of my hot flashes and brain fog and irritability and those things were starting to come back. So, of course, I ran the hormone programs, of which there are at least 2, plus some for pancreas. And, there's so many programs for just to peel the onion of what's going on in everybody's body. So within 3 days, all of those symptoms were starting to subside. And I do want to interject that, some things I've used the Healy once or twice on and haven't needed to run those programs again. Some are ongoing, and that's one that I still need to use a few times a week. And I know I need to use it because of the wonderful resonance. I do have the package that has the resonance program, and I'll scan it. And sure enough, about every 2 to 4 days, something related to hormones comes up. So I run the program. And I've rarely had those sweaty situations, every once in a blue moon, but prior to using the Healy, it was almost every day again. Additionally, this really surprised me. Over Thanksgiving, I always do the big Thanksgiving dinner, and I had lots of leftovers, and I I took all the healthy stuff, the leftover pasture-raised free-range turkey and the leftover vegetables, and I put them in a crock pot and made a big pot of soup. And I went to bed and forgot to turn it off. So I burned all of the good food, and what I had left in the house was mashed potatoes, pumpkin pie, stuffing. My daughter was home from college, so she twisted my arm to go out for ice cream a couple of times. And I was so busy that week that that's all I ate was all those leftovers that I thought were going to put 10 pounds on me. So I ran the weight program that's in the fitness category, hoping that I wouldn't gain more than 2 or 3 pounds. And at the end of the week, I weighed myself, and I had lost 6 pounds. And I called my friend who I had loaned the Healy to. Actually, she took it home when we came home from Miami because she had broken her leg and she was in such bad pain. I told her to take it. I called her and told her what happened, and she said, I did the same thing. She had run the weight program one time, and I think she lost 5 pounds. Or maybe she lost more. I don't know. It was right around that same range. So I thought, that's interesting. So it's just been one thing after another. I can't think of anything I've used it on that hasn't at least been relieved in 2 or 3 days, sometimes immediately. Sometimes I have to run that same program a few times, sometimes not. And I really feel this is the tool that we need to empower the masses to get out of pain, to, not worry about what's going on with health insurance so much. There's a lot of uphill battles when you're sick, and this really, I feel, will take care of a lot of them for so many people.
Lisa, there was one more incident that I remember you sharing with me, and that was when you told me you put your back out.
Yes. Yes, and my back did go out. One? Sure. I did get rid of my back pain right away, but be careful of what you wish for sometimes, because I wanted to really grow a home-based business, and this business has exploded. I was literally on the phone 16, 17, 18 hours a day when ordering opened because the orders were just pouring in relentlessly. So I was not exercising or stretching much at all, and my back did go out after sitting on, in the chair for that, long every day. And I ran the resonance, and both sciatica and lower back pain came up, so I ran both of those. The next morning, I had just the slightest amount of tenderness in my lower back. Now, previously, if my back got to that position or got in that condition, I would be immobile for at least 2 days and need to go to the chiropractor for 2 weeks to really get it taken care of. Or I also had been going to a physical therapist the last time my back went out. So instead it was, 12 hours. Little tenderness in the morning. I ran the release program, which is general overall body pain, and it was 100% gone.
Wow. That's so unbelievable.
It really is.
There's a part of our thinking, and I'm sure for most people listening, it's like, nah, can't be. We right. believe it takes time and, investment and change in your diet and environment and rest and all those things are really good to do, but they're not required to facilitate energetic rebalancing of your body or the energies, the frequencies of your body. So, that's amazing. That's so inspiring, because with this technology, and maybe we can talk a little bit more about it, because I'm sure people are curious, what does the resonance mean? And, what's the program? How do we run it? So we can talk a little bit more about that. But I just want to say that what has impressed me, because I'm not easily impressed. I've been around the block a few times, so I know what's available, and I know the cost of things. I mean, I have technology that doesn't do what this can do, this little device, but it cost me $16,000. And this is like, a fraction. And it does more than what my 16,000 practitioner unit of energy medicine and bioenergy frequencies could do. But the thing that I love is that there really is this new emerging healing tool, and that it is assisting us. I mean, there are stories after stories, and I just want to say, according to the FDA, we can only talk about our own personal experiences, and I don't really have any because I loaned mine out, so I haven't, even though I've had it, a couple of weeks, it's gone. But I can tell you one thing. Here's my own personal little story. But because generally I'm well, I don't have I don't have any chronic issues. I sleep well and I have energy, but I noticed that my left knee had a little tinge, when I walk up steps. There's just a little tinge of discomfort, something aching going on in my left knee. So when I would go upstairs, I'd be aware of it particularly. And since I've used the Healy just a couple of times before I gave it away, loaned it out. Hope I get it back. It's gone. It's gone. Now, that's just a little niggly thing, not like you, Mary, which, such chronic debilitating pain, but it made me aware that something shifted in my body. Right. So what I want to say about this technology, which requires you to download an app on your phone, your iPad, or your tablet, and then there's a hardware that is called the Healy. That's about 2 inches by 2 inches, and that little device has within it this phenomenal technology. And it can run up to 100 and what they call programs, up to 120 programs, which are specific frequencies that were designed to address a multitude of energetic imbalances in the body. So it's everything from pain, inflammation. It's everything from difficulty sleeping. It's everything from a weakened immune system. It's your emotional stressors. It can be dealing with specific areas of pain in the body. It can be with specific parts of your body that are having problems, whether it's the lungs, I really can't give that testimonial. It can help with lungs. It can help with your eyesight. It can help with circulation. It can help with your lymph. It can run different meridians. There are all of these programs that there are 4 packages, and there are 3. The first 3 packages have these 120 different programs. The package means different amounts of programs that come with a package you purchased. But even at the most basic one, it covers the key areas of your body for bringing balance and harmony. But the resonance is a second feature of this technology. It's like it has 2 technologies in one. And the first 3 levels is more run on what we call microcurrent, increasing the voltage, and also putting these healing frequencies into your body. And that requires electrodes. You have to put a strap on, and it's connected to the little hardware, 2.5-inch square hardware. And then there is the most profound part. I mean, it's all profound, but there's another component called the resonance. And maybe, Lisa, you've had experience with it. Maybe you do such a good job of explaining what the resonance aspect of this healing technology can do.
Sure. Yes. So the resonance application it's a separate app, and once you purchase your resonance package, the app is free for you. There's no monthly fee, and it has the capability to read your body's energy field. And from that assessment, it will tell you which of the Healy programs you will benefit from the most. And so that's what I did when my back went out. And I didn't even think about sciatica because I didn't have that tingling down the leg yet, but I've had it before. So that's another thing I love. It can catch things before you even know they're going on, potentially. So after it tells you what programs to run, you can either go back to your Healy and choose that program and run it as a microcurrent application, or you can resonate out the frequencies as a vibration. And because you can resonate them out as a vibration, that's why you can do that from a distance. And then in addition to choosing your Healy programs that way, there are libraries of other substances or the vibrations of other substances. There's a library of Bach flower remedies and Schussler salts and homeopathic remedies, a few things I'd never heard of like Australian bush flowers and Alaskan gem elixirs. So you can also do an assessment on each of those libraries, and the Healy will, and you can do it different ways. The way I do it is it tells you out of all of the Schussler salts, for instance, which are the top 5 that your body can benefit from the most. And then it will send those 5 out in a rotation. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and keeps going through that rotation for a specified amount of time, sending you the vibration of those substances that your body said, yes, I would really like to get those vibrations. And then additionally, you can assess your aura, and from that it'll extrapolate which of your chakras are weak. And then you choose a program to send to yourself, again, as a vibration, to strengthen those weaker chakras. And I think it does a lot more, but that's as far as I figured out. It's such a powerful thing, and, you know, you can only do so much in a day, too. Yeah. But I think there's more to come.
So if I can interject, just from both of you speaking, some of the things as well that, and by the way, this is Mary. So as far as myself, you know, the rheumatoid was my largest issue, and that's, you know, what I went to the practitioner for. But since learning about Healy, becoming an affiliate, you know, helping others, you know, do the same, and, you know, talking to friends about it, so helping with their conditions, you know, answering questions. What for me is amazing is when I'm, again, seeing other people, you know, what they're having happen, I keep adding to my list. I've made a list of the things, and it started out with the rheumatoid, and just prior to the shutdown, I had blood testing and found out that my thyroid was out of balance, that I was definitely in menopause, so I now have, you know, hormonal imbalance. And so those were the top of the list. Sleep, you know, because of the menopause was an issue. So those were some bigger things, and I, you know, put those on. And then now that the more I learn about it, and, you know, like with what Lisa's saying, all the different things that can be addressed, I'm so excited that there's so many things that I'll be able to help my body with, including, you know, because of, I think one of you brought up immunity. So, you know, all this is going on, and I'm low immune. I'm immune compromised because of chronic illness. So that's been a factor for me throughout the stay at home. And I'm really excited to be able to address, you know, getting a better immune system, because right now I take a bunch of supplements, and I'm excited because I'm going to use the program. I'm going to get the additional subscription of the DNA package, because I want to know when my magnesium is low, and I don't want to wait until I have the cramps, or I don't want to have to every day be taking my magnesium, which is low, my potassium, which is low. I'm always borderline anemia. So for me, that's the exciting thing, is that it can help with so many of these daily things. And I'm hoping to not have to carry all those supplements with me when I start, you know, traveling again, or, you know, even on a daily basis to have to remember it before I run out the door. I'm just excited that I'll be able to run these different programs while I'm in the car and anywhere I go.
Absolutely. Yeah. So you address the chronic issue that, you know, makes you forget about all the little stuff, which seems like a good thing in the short run, but it's really not. If it's there, it still needed to be addressed, right? But, you know, then you have, so it's probably the best tool to peel the onion layer by layer that I have ever seen.
Yes.
You know, between
it's very exciting to be able to keep adding to the list. Like, oh my gosh,
it's very intuitive.
I might be able to help with this. This is amazing.
Right. And it customizes to you, even if you don't have the resonance. Every time you choose a program, it'll send you the whole universe of frequencies that may address your issue. And then it'll ask your body, do you need this one? Do you need that one? Your body will either have a response that says, oh, yeah, I really need that one, and it'll keep that one in the program and get rid of the ones you don't need. So instead of having to run 5 programs of a static list, it just picks the ones you need. And then the whole time it's running, it's adjusting to what you need. It's constantly in a biofeedback mode to say, okay, do you still need this one? If not, let's take it out so you get more of the ones you still need.
Correct.
And then you have people like Cheryl that, is in very good health, but, she may have just prevented a chronic knee problem in 5 years. Mm-hmm. So in my opinion, that alone, if it's only prevention, it's worth its price.
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, just the unit itself, but then to have additional things that you can add should you opt to.
Absolutely.
Like for myself, having chronic illness, that low immune and having deficiency with lots of your, vitamins and minerals. It's common.
Absolutely.
So, adding in that layer of that digital nutrition app for me, that's going to be a great factor for me to be able to use that as well.
Absolutely.
To just round out how much better I feel every day.
Yes, I'm getting that as soon as possible too. And for those of you that don't know, it's DNA is for a digital nutrition app that will send you the frequencies of nutrients as well as a grocery list of which foods you can get those same nutrients in. And the purpose is if you have some of the physical along with the energetics, you'll absorb those nutrients. So instead of, with our compromised food sources and all the toxins that impede our ability to absorb our nutrients, that will bypass all of that and get those nutrients where they need to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very exciting that there's something available within this that they're addressing, that everything I eat is going to pull that mineral, that vitamin out. And to be honest, with someone like myself who is chronic, and other people who just want to be healthy, many of us are spending as much or more as what that addition would be on a monthly basis.
Absolutely.
To add that in. So for me, I think
double
it's
that.
going to be the ease. Yes, and I'm going to be spending less, and I'm going to have the ease of not having to remember it and not having to pack it when I travel, and just making my life easier. If I'm at work and it says that I need something, whether it's from that digital nutrition app or it's, a pain issue, I can run that program when I'm sitting at work or, anywhere I am.
Absolutely.
So there's so many possibilities. And when you're talking, Mary, one thing that came to mind is when people have chronic illnesses, they often have poor absorption. So you can be taking tons of supplements, but it doesn't mean that you are able to actually utilize them. When you're working
Correct.
in a frequency universe, and we are sending the frequencies of that, and everything has a frequency, right? So you can send the frequencies of those nutrients that come up as critical. It's not about digesting. It's about putting this energy into your energy body, and which is the first step where before it, then goes into the physical, you can get the benefit of that energy, that frequency of that nutritional supplement or that food, which to me makes total sense. And if people are having a hard time wrapping their heads around what frequency medicine is, there are a couple of examples that I just like to share with people. Sound healing is really popular now. People are using crystal bowls, Tibetan bowls, tuning forks. There's lots of interest in tuning forks. Well, we need to understand that these are healing modalities that are working with frequencies. Sound is a frequency that is being communicated and sent to the body. So when you listen to music that has, whether it's a CD, something on the internet that has Tibetan bells, crystal bowls, or tuning forks, or you go to an event with sound healing, or you have a practitioner that's using something with sound, it's all about energy. It's about putting those frequencies into your field and bring about harmony and well-being. So this idea of frequency medicine has been used throughout the ages. We're just at a place, and with this Healy technology, we're able to combine the wisdom of the spiritual knowledge that we are an energy body and all is energy, with the developed technology that is being put to use for good, understanding the quantum physics, applying it in a practical way in a device that is able to restore energetic balance again to who we are. And by the way, when we do that, it's not just bringing the physical body back into balance. It's also allowing the emotional body to go back into balance so people can improve their sense of well-being emotionally, which means that we can shift from anxious state to a more balanced state, or from a depressed state to a happier state without the need of all sorts of interventions. And it's true for our thinking process. We can go from stressful thinking to fearful thinking, or to lack of memory or cognitive impairment, and we can bring balance back and restore those functions and abilities, all with energies, all with frequencies. So for me, this is the leading edge of healing. And when you combine that with the fact that a person can own this technology for themselves, and you said a great word, Lisa, self-care. So that's what it's about. How much better is it for us to be able to resolve issues at home with our family? If your kids, your grandparents, your parents need help, you now have a tool. That excites me. That empowers me. That's what I'm looking for. Because most of the time, if you go to a doctor, they can only give you some sort of pharmaceutical drug or some sort of intervention, which may alleviate some of those conditions, but rarely, if ever, heals. And when you're dealing with restoring the energetic dysfunction or the distortion in your energy field, you allow healing to happen, permanent healing. And that, to me, is where we're going. And that's what the future is. And we're blessed because we now have the future in our hands. So this is what we're capable of doing. So we only have a couple of minutes left. Mary, do you have something you just want to complete with? Any last words from you?
Just that I'm very excited not only to get to help myself personally, but to be able to share it. Because to me, I'm more about helping others. Always, have kind of been in that modality. So being able to help friends and family and anyone they know, to me, that's just very exciting.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you, Mary. And Lisa, any last closing remarks from you?
Yes, I agree with that as well. It's very fulfilling to be able to do this kind of work and help people all day long. I do want to add that I want people to realize that these tools aren't healing directly anything. They're just putting your body back in the energetic state it should be. And when the body is in the energetic state it should be, it becomes a healing miracle it was intended to be. So it's very complementary with other natural modalities. And I want to say, when you were saying, if somebody goes and has a pharmaceutical solution and it may or may not work and it may or may not create other side effects, it's also true with natural modalities. If you can only go to your chiropractor, for instance, once a week or once a month, and you leave the chiropractor and you're exposed to a chemical, that can immediately put you right out of your alignment, because every vertebra has a certain frequency, and things that don't match our body, like toxins and even mental stress, will put you right back out of balance. So for us to have these tools at our fingertips every day is what we've needed, and here it is.
Yeah, and here it is. And I have to add that this technology can also benefit pets, because I know from my friends who have their dogs how much they invest in taking care of their dogs and vet bills and food and whatever else. And I know that this technology is as profound for healing for our pets as it is for our less furry selves.
Yeah, and
So,
I'm also looking forward to helping my dog as well. She has some leg issues, knee issues. However, if I can just share a quick story, when I was getting my treatment at Elena's last week, the interesting thing was her dog was crazy, bouncy, wanting me to play with it. I couldn't engage because I was in pain. So I just kept, putting my hand out to pet the dog if she would come over. And while I was getting the second treatment, her dog jumped up on my lap. The Healy was on my lap. The dog immediately went from crazy bouncing, trying to lick my face, to calming. And she actually laid down on my lap and almost immediately across the Healy, and then put her head down, and she just stayed that way until the treatment was done. And Elena said after I left, the dog went in the house and went to sleep. So
animals are so sensitive.
I have a cat.
They know more than
so
us.
Cool. Yes. So
I have a cat that I'm running programs on. Yeah.
But yeah, I knew it could help animals. I didn't realize that they would feel it as much as that. I thought you'd have to put it on them or near them, or like you would be making the effort. But her dog felt that immediately. So that was really, it was a testimony. Just that alone, I was like, wow, this is great. I'm looking forward to using it for my little love bug.
I love it.
Thanks for that. Well, thank you both, Mary Hauser and Lisa Lothian, for sharing your journeys and your profound experiences with the Healy technology. If people want to get in touch with Mary, her website is healingfrequencies.now.site, S-I-T-E, that site. And for Lisa, it's 144kfrequencies.com. That's her website. If you'd like to get more information from me, you can just email me at drs@drcherylselman.com. Remember, I post all of these shows on my Facebook page, What Women Must Know, or you can also opt into my website, which is drcherylselman.com. And just know that there are miracles abounding all around us, and be open to receiving how that miracle will show up in your life. So until next time, remember to fill your week with love, peace, and happiness. Bye for now.